Welcome to Montana Matters. We're joined by Steve Bentley. He is Avitus Group's Senior VP of Finance. We want to thank you so much for being here today, Steve.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so a very important tax deadline is coming up. It's right around the corner, and that's what we're talking about today.
Yes, it is. Tax returns this year are due on April 18th. Normally they're due on the 15th, but we get a couple of extra days because the 15th is Saturday. If you're not ready to file your tax returns by April 18th, you can get an extension of time to file. Very important to note, that's not an extension of time to pay. You still need to pay by April 18th if you're going to owe any tax. Form 4868 can be filed with the IRS. It can be electronically filed, or you can get a paper form by downloading it from the irs.gov website, or you can actually find copies at the Billings Library. Taxpayers can also contact the Taxpayer Assistance Center in Billings at 247-7446. The center is located at 2900 4th Avenue North, and it's open from 8:30 to 4:30. Montana tax returns are automatically extended as long as you don't owe any tax. If you do owe tax, there's a form that you can send the money into Montana in order to get your extension.
Okay, so a lot of resources there. Also important to note that Avitus Group does help businesses and individuals with their taxes. And there are procrastinators. This just happens every year when tax deadlines are approaching. And it's important to note that tax planning is very important.
It is. It is. From a procrastination standpoint, we figure about 15% of all the tax returns filed in this country get extended. So that's a pretty good chunk. Tax planning can be very valuable in reducing your taxes if you own your own business, for instance, or if you have other complications involved with your tax return. At its core, tax planning is really understanding and knowing how much tax you're going to pay for the current year. Refunds are nice, but they are interest-free loans to the government. Right. And you'd be better off if you paid a small amount of tax at the end of the year with your tax return rather than getting a large refund.
Okay, so some good advice there. What types of tax reform are likely ahead with the Trump administration?
Well, the president did speak about tax reform during the campaign and most recently after the health care reform bill was withdrawn. The president has his version of tax reform. The Republican Party has its version of tax reform, and they don't necessarily agree in all instances. Regardless of which version prevails, or if the winner is a mix of the two, then taxes will be going down for the majority of Americans. However, an important thing to remember is if they design tax reform to be revenue neutral, that is, not increase the deficit, then there are going to be some losers. There are going to be some people who don't get the tax breaks they used to.
Okay, so what are the main things that businesses and individuals maybe need to be aware of with these changes?
Well, businesses should really consult with their tax advisors to understand how the potential changes can impact them. For instance, if depreciation rules get loosened up in the future, which is one possibility, then as a business owner you may want to delay a capital purchase like a vehicle or equipment until the new depreciation rules are in place. Individuals may also want to change their withholding if lower rates are adopted so they don't get that huge refund. I wouldn't do so right now in anticipation because who knows what's going to happen.
Okay, all right. Well, Steve Bentley of Avitus Group, wonderful information on taxes. Again, that deadline is April 18th. We want to thank you for joining us. For more information, get a hold of Avitus Group. You can visit their website or give them a phone call.